We'll give you a minute. And we'll roll. Kelly, we're good? Right. Folks, welcome to the 1 o'clock presentation of Tuesday of Innovation Week here at Rensselaer and the Greater Capital Region. About to introduce you to Bennett Ashley from CobalSkill. Bennett will walk us through the next presentation and then we'll open up for questions so we can help them build a team. Bennett, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. So I'm currently a business student here at SUNY CobalSkill, and I have this idea for a marijuana breathalyzer. And I use that term very broadly. It's more of a metaphor for the device that I'm trying to create. So today, there's no accurate way for a police officer to tell if someone that they pull over is currently under the influence of marijuana. My proposal is a device that can be used by police to tell if someone is under the influence of marijuana, the way a breathalyzer can tell if someone is drunk. That's the name, marijuana breathalyzer. Now, finding a solution to this problem could save numerous lives, increase efficiency for both police and commuters, and be an enormous source of revenue while creating jobs and researching effects of marijuana usage. There's so much data out there, but it's very unreliable just to being able to specifically find driving under the influence related charges with marijuana. So, with all of this being said, I'm looking for people to research the effects of THC on the body and can pinpoint when someone is impaired, what body part is being affected. From there, we can not only create a threshold if needed, but find and/or create a device that can use that data to detect in real time if a person is impaired. Currently, there are other companies that have created a marijuana breathalyzer. Hound Labs is in the process of creating a device that can tell if someone has used THC in the past 2 to 3 hours. However, my question is, why does this device have to be a breathalyzer? Why can't this device be, say, a headband to look at someone's brain activity and tell if they are impaired in real time? Perhaps there's already a device that can tell if someone is impaired in real time, but we use it for a different application. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for development and on the technology and business side of the product, and I'm open to further ideas on how to develop this concept via data and research. Seems to have gone a little bit short.
That's all right, Bennett. Thank you for that. And again, brevity is not a bad thing, simply because we want to keep an open mind. And it seems like you've done such with what you envision or opening it up for people to envision an alternative for what a breathalyzer, or what we know as to be an alcohol breathalyzer for law enforcement, looks like. You know, I'm going to open up the questions from some students in a second, but let's focus on what you're looking for. When you put in your submission, you're looking for the business development side and also the technical development side, which there's been some fantastic solutions, and in conversation with some folks, they're already thinking about it as well. But on the business side, you and I and Kelly were talking about it before the presentation started. Do you envision this to go beyond law enforcement? It seemed like in your presentation, you're keeping an open mind about potential customer segments.
Yeah. I feel like we could go to anyone that could use this device. And I'm thinking that since this isn't a normal breathalyzer, maybe this device could also detect if someone is impaired on, say, meth. any other types of drugs um, currently affecting them, and can maybe won't say that you are high on marijuana, but it will say that you are currently impaired um, to a certain degree, that you're not able to, say, drive or um, work. Maybe you could install it into a car, so you have to test it before you're able to drive. There's many different uses for a product like this. Um, I just am looking for more research and getting those ideas out there.
Yeah, the business development side, customer discovery side, that's part of the practicum course in the spring. So we'll be willing to help you in that capacity. And since it's very much in its early stage conceptually, um, it could be a good fit. We think it is definitely going to be a good fit going forward to build the business side because a lot of us think it could go beyond law enforcement. It's great that you're keeping an open mind as well. Let's look about building your team up on the technical side. And it's a quick transition because I know Anush joined us. I did mention before we get to that, Kelly, do you have any questions or thoughts on the business side before I turn it over to Anush? Because I know he's got some questions on the technical side.
You talked about, and this might overlap both business and technical, you talked about the lack of data. Can you be a little more specific in what type of data you're looking for that is going to be imperative for your solution?
So I'm looking for data that can pinpoint when someone is high, and if that is causing car accidents, crashes. I'm looking for that data because I feel like if we know how many deaths or injuries are being caused due to driving under the influence, then it will be beneficial as to if people should invest money into this product or not. Say a couple hundred people every year in the US, then I would say it's probably not worth it. Just because there are probably other technologies and devices that could save more lives.
Kelly, other questions on the business side? Let's move over to the technical side. Anush, I did mention to Bennett that I did share his information with you. I know that you were interested in connecting, but thanks for joining us. I have a few questions, but I'd rather turn the mic over to you as a potential collaborator here. So go for it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry I joined late. I had something running, but yeah, I'm very interested in your project. My background is mainly I started off into a pharmaceuticals research. I'm still an undergrad, but I had internships in research I've done before, specifically into pharmaceuticals and psychoactive and psychedelic drugs and their effects on human physiology and physiological.
Anush, I think you froze. Come back, Anush, please. There you go. All right, back. You're back.
Good. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is crap too, so sorry. Let me know if I freeze up. But like I said, my background is from the pharma side, so I understand, drug-based interactions on the human body, generally how to set up decently accurate research experiments and paradigms. And now I'm more into neural signal processing, so I actually use, headsets to detect brain waves and the potential for characterizing brain waves for human subjects under the influence of drugs is a huge up-and-coming field, especially on the research side. And I found it interesting that you had an application for law enforcement for, detecting impairment. And that same technology, that same idea can also be applied to, there's a huge market for researchers to understand the effects of various drugs on the human body in easy to characterize ways. And right now, it's very, very complicated. You have very, very complex systems that read functional data from the brain, like MRI, fMRI, and they have some headset versions of those as well. But I thought your idea was super cool because if you say we develop like a wearable um, that has electrodes that can detect brain waves, and based on how it characterizes those brain waves, it can detect whether you're under the influence or impaired of a certain drug, depending on its configuration. That not only has a potential market in terms of law enforcement for, especially if cannabis is becoming more legalized across the U.S., it's going to become a much more prevalent, I think it's going to become a much more prevalent problem that people are going to be driving more impaired and stuff like that. But there's also a huge market on the research side for smaller research groups that want wearables to monitor brain states of patients undergoing different drugs for therapeutic uses. Like a big one is ketamine and psilocybin for depression and OCD and MDD and stuff like that. So I'd be really willing to work with you and develop out the technical side. I have a pretty solid background in research, pharma, and biosignal acquisition. Not so hot on the machine learning comp sci aspect, which is going to be the driving force for characterizing those raw biosignals. I have some decent experience with it, but if you'd want to work on a team or expand into a technical realm with that, it might be beneficial to find someone who has a good background in human physiology, but is also mainly focused in machine learning, algorithm classification, streamlining software pipelines, that sort of stuff. But I'd be super willing to work with you. Like I said, I've experienced working with EEG headsets, and it wouldn't be like a breathalyzer. It'd be like a wearable or some sort of device that is able to scan biosignals and potentially directly correlate that with impairment on various substances. So, yeah, let me know if you'd be interested. I wanted to email you yesterday because Prof sent me your contact info, but I didn't get a chance to. So we can talk more about it if you'd like.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great answer. Cool.
Yeah, I would just, Bennett, shameless plug for a student advocacy here. Anush is in one of my entrepreneurship classes as well. And he'll be also part of the biomedical engineering capstone that is the team we're basically taking the technical side with. So, Anush, if you're interested in helping maybe recruit a team for Bennett as well, we like successful collaborations like this.
Yeah, I have a group of people that I got together that are interested in doing something neuro-based. There's about 3 or 4 of us. I think just three other than me, so 4 total. So I'm sure if I give them, I'll talk to them, and I'm sure they'd be interested to hop on a study like this and build out something that could be really cool. Because I also do manufacturing prototyping, like 3D printing, and I've pivoted recently to doing specifically wearables. So I could also assist on that front of having like a very ergonomic, streamlined device that can be scaled up for production. It can be easy access to use. It'd be easy to use on both the user and the recipient side, stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so let's talk. I'd be down for that.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Anush, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time because we have the visual here, and I'm glad that you brought the device. We always like the.
Oh yeah, I'm just in my room, so it's sitting right next to me. So.
Bennett, I think what helps since Anush is here in Al-Majdi, if you have any questions, please let us know. You mentioned about the group that you worked with that is creating the hardware that may open up more avenues for exploration.
Oh, yeah.
You mind sharing some info on that?
Sure. So this headset is developed by a company called OpenBCI. They're BCI's brain-computer interface. It's pretty much, it reads your brain data and outputs that brain data into something tangible like a prosthetic, a robotic arm, or something like that. And they started up about 10 years ago. They're based out of Brooklyn, but they pretty much make open source hardware and software EEG data acquisition headsets. So that's what I purchased. And their whole platform is fully open source. They're research grade headsets, so a lot of research groups from all over the world use their headsets in their studies and characterizations. A lot of companies do validation studies with these, like a lot of wearables, like wearable startups will do their initial validation studies with OpenBCI headsets. They're always iterating. They're always designing new products. They're always trying to find ways to improve. They have a new product line of like VR headsets and stuff coming out, but mainly their whole platform is open source, hardware, software, and so we can use something like this as like a validation study and be totally fine on that front in terms of wanting to build off the OpenBCI concept, use any of the open source software in our testing or development or integration to a final product or something like that. So they're a cool company. I'll send you the details about it if you're interested and the potential that it can do. So
Thanks, Anush. Maj, do you have any questions? If not, totally okay.
I don't
Uh,
really have any questions. I'm trying to, I think it's a very cool idea, and I'm thinking about the ways that I could be of use in this project, though I don't have the neuroscientific background that Anush has. So, if anything, I would be more so on the development side and the business side and where we could implement the product.
awesome.
Ben, I have a quick question for you, in terms of your relationship with Skill and this, Anush, you and I were talking about this yesterday. Um, if you don't know, that's okay, I could probably do some research on it, but Skill doesn't have a cannabis cultivation program or a growers program tied to its agricultural department.
Yeah, so I don't think that they have cannabis. I know that they have hemp. We have 4.5 acres of hemp on campus. Um, but I don't think cannabis.
My next question would be, how would you want to approach doing that, or is that like a discussion we can have later? Like, how would you want to approach like getting data and stuff, like giving people THC and
We could probably move that discussion offline.
yeah,
But
that's one
yeah,
of my burning questions. Oh, okay.
but no, I love the fact that the wheels are turning also. In the interest of time, Kelly, do you have any questions on the technical side? Great. This has been a productive conversation. Great presentation. Again, great synergy here. Just for next steps, Anush, if you or whomever or Maj, you want to show your interest, sign up through the Google form. They can see on the page. Ben, in terms of next steps, we'll be posting this presentation on that same page in the near future. And then students have until October 17th to show their interest, whether on the business side or on the technological business, excuse me, on the technology side as well. And then by October 24th, we hope to have a team for you. So
Awesome. That sounds great.
great.
I'm happy to meet you, Anush and
Yeah,
Maj.
nice to meet you as well.
And great shameless plug for the Flying Pig Society. We always love that cross pollination there.
Yep, I'm a member of the Flying Pig Society as well.
Nice, nice.
So, all right, all have a great day, Bennett. Thank you very much, Anush, Maj.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Somebody's knocking.
Have a good one.
You
See
too.
ya. Kelly, we sign out of this one. I see Diana's joining us, but should we just stay on? What do you think?
Yeah. Yep, I'll just start recording again at 1:30.
Great. Diana, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation to join you today. Am I too early? I probably am a little bit early, huh? I can go back and come back in if you would prefer.
Oh, come on in. The water's
So
fine.
how's it going so far?
We have what, 4 presentations, Kelly, down? The fifth, Diana, and I kind of want to develop all 4, to be honest with you.
That's a good position to be in. Do you do this every year?
This is the first time we're doing this. So as part of the new Life Sciences Entrepreneurship Program, we're looking for creative ways to bring in the outside world. And working with Dr. Michelle Lewis, who is your colleague, and others in the Capital Region, we're hearing the same refrain. And before I go, let me introduce you to Kelly Rubin-Sleicher from the Severino Center for Technological Entrepreneurship. She's my partner in crime on this. So Diana, Kelly, Diana.
Hi, Diana.
No, I don't have I'm waving and I don't have my video on. Hi.
And
Nice to meet you.
Maj, he's a student waiting for your presentation, so we'll introduce him as well. But just on background, we're finding the same disconnect where you have all these brilliant people, these brilliant ideas, and part of entrepreneurship, the heart of it is problem solution. But when you're speaking with clinicians, researchers, and anybody in medical fields, they always say, I have this great idea, but I just don't have the time. And the fact that we have this program here, we have biomedical engineering, students. We have students with deep engineering backgrounds who are also looking at the business side of it. We just thought we should probably get you all together in the same room and let's put ideas out into the universe and see what connects. So congratulations, Diana, you're part of our trial here.
I'm used to being a guinea pig, so it's fine with me. Long ago, I worked at Keck Graduate Institute in Southern California, and that was a biotech graduate program. And we did similar kinds of things. I mean, it was, students were very interested in entrepreneurship, faculty, people from industry, consultants, et cetera. But it was very difficult to kind of bring them all together, right, and coalesce around a scope. So I think this is vital to the continued health of the life science industry.
Do you mind me asking you that question again at the end of our video so we can record you and you saying that awesome? Did you just remember what you said? Because that was fantastic.
Oh my God, you're just saying that. I would be happy to. Whatever will help you out, I'm happy to do.
Well, the reason I think, okay, sorry to keep it light here, but Kelly and I were speaking to the second presenter yesterday who has some really fascinating technology to identify airborne infectious diseases through AR and VR. And we stopped recording, and Kelly, I don't know if you want to take it from here.
Then all the good stuff happened. Then he talked about all the right things that we need to address on our campus in order to make more entrepreneurial connections like Brett is doing here today.
That was fabulous. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Reinforcement is always important.
Yeah, but then Kelly said, I wish we recorded that, Adam. Can you say it again? And but I think especially here, I don't know how long you've been in the Capital Region, Diana, but it's something that I think more and more people, I mean, we've had 19 pitches this week, and sure, some are from, there's some people that are pitching 3, and other positions pitching 2, but I think the expectations were, if we have 6, great. So I think this shows as a pilot that there is potential out there. Now it's finding those right connections, or again, throw ideas out there into the universe and see what catches.
Sure, absolutely. I do think that's so important, and I think that selfishly from the perspective of ACPHS, we are looking to build more bridges to industry because the traditional pharmacy career path is not what it once was, and so students need options. And maybe they're not going to become an entrepreneur, but I think the idea, the entrepreneurial spirit, sort of getting into the water, if you will help them, even if they go into a traditional pharma role, a pharma industry role. So I think these are all very useful certainly to what we're trying to accomplish, but also to what what you guys are doing and what we're trying to do in general for the region. I think the region needs this kind of energy.
Yeah, and it's been great. If Michelle, Dr. Lewis's office is right next to yours, I apologize, but I don't know if she's joining us or not. I know she wants to try to make a few because one of your colleagues pitched at 11:30, but she's been great to work with and fostering that collaborative sense as well. And I think, you're reiterating what she initially said in one of our first conversations to say, okay, what's the next step for some of our graduates from the College of Pharmacy? That you said, like you said, it's not the same as it was even, 5-10 years ago in terms of what's coming out, which is exciting, which is real exciting.
So who else will be on this webinar, or if anyone?
We'll find out. I mean, that's the exciting
okay.
too, where we're going to make sure that you don't hear crickets. That's why Kelly and I are here as well, guiding the conversation. I know Majdi's joining us. We had 3 students in the previous one, 3 students at the 11:30. But it's the reason why we're also recording these, just in case there's a conflict. Class, teaching, meetings to have meetings. So that's why I think recording it is important. And then I'll close out, just to give you a heads up, Diana, I'll introduce you, brief 10-second introduction, then I'll turn the mic over to you. If you go over 5 minutes, I know you had another meeting, I think you said at 2 o'clock or 2:30, but most of these have been lasting about 15 minutes. There'll be a Q&A after, asking you specifically what you need on the business or the tech development side, so it gives students a better idea of how we can help, or if they want to join your team. Excuse me, and then I wrap it up to say students, others have about 2.5 weeks to sign up. October 17th, by October 24th, we'll hopefully have a team for you. So if it's light, what I'm saying is if there's light attendance starting in 4 minutes, it's not because of you. It's not because of us. It's just, we're trying to.
It's not like a high-tech idea, so, I mean, I'm realistic, let me just put it that way. I'm happy to do it and would love to do it. I have a very dear friend of the family who is in this situation, and that was actually the inspiration for the idea. But, it's not, AI, sensing of particulate in the air of a building. So as I say, I'm realistic.
Yeah, and I just put that example out there. I think it's more of, if you look at the 19 proposals on that webpage, it cuts across a lot of different sectors or aspects of life sciences, and that excites me, because it's one of the things I explain to people as well, is that you have biotech, medtech, but people forget that life sciences cuts a really, really wide swath in what falls under that that umbrella.
Exactly. And then I just use this share button, is that, okay.
Yeah, why don't we test that out, so you can toggle back and forth, so we can just jump into it in about 2-3 minutes.
Okay, so you can see that fine? Okay.
And plus 1 points for using a provided pitch deck.
Say that
Template.
again? Sorry.
Plus 1 to you for using the provided pitch deck template.
Oh. Well, it seemed to be very handy, so I'm always looking for handy things, trust me.
Plus 1,000 to Kelly for setting that up, because she does a lot of these and is our go-to for e-ship here.
So you're both with RPI, right? Is that right? And how long have you been there?
Kelly's got me by a bunch, so I'll defer to her.
I've been here 15 years.
Oh, wow. Wow. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I've been here 2 seconds.
2 seconds, okay.
9 months? 9 months. I started in December. Yeah, 9 months going on 10. It's all a blur.
Well, you've both achieved a lot, so.
Yeah, we're just starting. Got work to do, but we're getting there, right, Kelly?
I have visited your campus. It's a beautiful campus.
You're also getting a beautiful new facility at the College of Pharmacy.
Say that again?
You're getting a beautiful new facility.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. We're so excited about that. It's really wonderful, wonderful, wonderful addition.
Will you be there?
I will not be there. I'm actually physically located in Austin, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just got back.
Coming to you direct from Austin, where today we are all celebrating because the weather is maybe only going to get to the low 90s. Because we've been having a really 100 days of 100 degrees. So we're happy. This is like, bring on. I know. Bring on. Where's my parka?
Nice. All right, we're on 1:30. Diana, you want to hop back and share your screen, please? And once you're comfortable going, just give us the thumbs up, and I'll give you a short introduction, and we'll just roll right into it. Don't worry about the 5 minutes. We've had one at 3 today, one at 9, maybe meet us in the middle, and we'll be all good.
Okay, so I'm ready whenever you want to start. I guess should I start by sharing, and do you want me to stop my video when I'm sharing?
No, click share your screen, going back to what you had before, and then we'll roll
Okay.
right into it.
Okay,
And you want to toggle back and forth, just to know that we're there? Can you toggle to the next slide, Diana, please? Okay, we're good. All right. We can start. There you go. All right, Kelly, good? All right, welcome to the third and final Tuesday pitch of Innovation Week here at Rensselaer in the Greater Capital Region. Closing out today's festivities is Diana Bartlett from the Albany College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. Welcome, Diana.
thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and begin, if that's okay with you. And I wanted to describe my problem that I think needs to be solved in the following way. There are many people who are terminally ill in the United States, but they are mentally intact, even though their bodies are falling apart. And at the diagnosis of a terminal disease, could be cancer, could be renal failure, could be a variety of things, they don't accept the diagnosis. They don't believe they're going to die. They think that they will continue to drive their cars and swim or shop or visit friends or see their grandchildren. So why is that important? Well, first of all, it's devastating emotionally to the caregivers, to the family members who now have to try to navigate this situation. But it also has practical implications in that wills are not made, assets are not taken care of. There are a variety of end-of-life details that need to be addressed, and the sufferer, the person who has the terminal illness, figures there's no rush to take care of any of these things. So how big of a problem is it? Well, this is an area where I would hope to get some kind of help. What I've been able to discover is that, at least in 2018, there were about 1.5 million people in the United States who had hospice care, right? But I think that 1.5 million people in hospice care are probably people who are not in denial, right? Because they're already taking these final steps. But I think it gives you a little bit of the order of magnitude. Dwarfing that number is the fact that about 600,000 people a year in the US will die of cancer. Probably another half as many, 300 or 400,000, will die of chronic cardiology, kidney failure, and other kinds of conditions. So it's perhaps an order of magnitude of a couple of million people. That means a couple of million times 2 or 4 or 6 or 10 caregivers who are brought into this situation. So it's a reasonably good-sized problem from an operations standpoint, if you will, to try to address. The other thing that my third bullet down, families agonize not only the emotional stress of having to say goodbye to a beloved family member, but the conditions are often very complex. A person may have kidney failure and be diagnosed with only a few days to live, but then they undergo some kind of treatment, and now they're up and about. And so now they may have 2 months to live, or 12 months, or even 2 years. So there's never really any certainty, and it may sound hard-hearted to talk about predicting when a beloved person is going to die, but it adds complexity and adds difficulty to the situation. Now, what's done today? Well, there are, you know, there are 4,700 hospices in the United States, so they get involved in to some extent. Counselors, religious leaders, palliative care, nurses and doctors, these people are all available and they're all very capable, but a lot of times families will see them as intrusive or a little bit impersonal. Plus, if they are consulted, if a caregiver or the family is well prepared and knows what kinds of information to provide, they can do a more effective job. So information, I think, can be very helpful as a way to address this problem of how to deal with a terminally ill family member who is in denial. I just came up with this idea. There are probably lots and lots of ideas out there, but the basic premise of this is that I want something like an app or an online website that will gather information from the caregiver, various aspects of the status of the patient, various aspects of the final activities, the will, the disposition of real estate or property, et cetera, sort of the outlook, if you will, for the patient and other information, and then using something, AI, best practices, there may be research that needs to be done, and what's the gold standard today for dealing with a terminally ill patient in denial. You answer the questions, and out comes a series of suggestions on how to deal with the family member. So the value proposition is that it helps the caregiver. It gives power to the caregiver to deal with what is certainly a very, very challenging and sad situation where emotion tends to overtake the ability to think logically about what to do. So what do I need help with? Well, I certainly need help in terms of the business side of it. How big is the market? Do people want to have anything like this? Would they use it if they had it? What should the form of the solution be? Is it an app? Is it something else? I don't know. And then there would probably be some sort of engineering, right? So we'd have to have ways of developing algorithms to analyze the answers that people would give or the information that people would share about their situation. So lots and lots of families are going to face, as the population ages, lots of families will face terminally ill forecasts of beloved people in their families, and the family members are still sane enough. They're not going anywhere as far as they're concerned, and they're not in any hurry to take care of the final matters. So that's my request. That's the idea, and I would love any help in solving this problem.
Diana, thanks so much. Yeah, remember when I told you before we started this that it was 4 for 4 of projects that I want to work on? I think it's 5 for 5 because
You're too
you
kind.
definitely. I'm sorry.
You're too kind.
No, but I think from a problem solution standpoint, you've done a little bit of market research to know that one, we have an aging population, and these are very difficult conversations to have. That I think because of an aging population, and now, I may be speaking from experience given my age range, is that where my generation, others are now working through these situations, not only because of terminal illness, but mostly cognitive illness as well. You focused more on, I think, physical. It's not a knock against your presentation, but I see it more of a cognitive as well. It's like, how do you manage that situation? Because every situation is different. So I think it's a great idea. More pointedly, let me ask you a couple questions so we can help recruit a team for you. One from the business side, and then from the technical side, and then I'll ask Kelly And we have, looks like Dr. Lewis has joined us and Majdi as well. But on the business side, who do you think would, let's say you develop an app, right? And this comes up a lot with app development. Who would buy this? Who would buy this? Would you see it more on the clinician side, or just the everyday caretaker that's dealing with this day in, day out?
Well, I would see the everyday caretaker dealing with this day in and day out, but it would probably be at the recommendation of the physician or the recommendation of the palliative care office in the hospital. So, you know, it probably would be not exactly a two-step sale, but you'd want to make sure that you had buy-in from the professional side so that when people considered it, they would know it's not just, you know, like some gimmick or something like that. But I think it really should be aimed at the caregiver who does not have necessarily the clinical or technical background to know what to do in this kind of situation. They're the ones who really need to be shored up.
Interesting. I think I misspoke. I think I said caretaker or caregiver. Yeah. So that's an interesting approach about someone overcoming a barrier to entry, is working with the physicians first as more of a recommendation or even a prescription, you know, in some way that this is more of a
I like the
prescriptive.
prescription. Yes, I
Yeah,
like the
prescriptive
prescription.
measure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Kelly, you have any questions on the business side?
So, Diana, you said this was a situation that a friend was in. Did you hear directly from them the need of certain aspects that they weren't finding, say, in a Google search? And how important were those needs at that moment?
Well, yes, to answer your question, yes, I have heard from several family members about this situation. And, you know, part of it, and not to go into too much detail, a lot of it is just day-to-day activities of daily living, eating, dressing, cleaning, taking care of one's self. These things are not getting done. And you would think, well, they're not getting done because the person thinks they're going to die. No, they're not getting done because the person doesn't believe that's how they have always lived. I guess maybe that's too much gory detail, but you know, the situation has gotten worse because when the patient refuses to, you know, take medications, eat, drink enough water, stand up and move around and not sit in a chair, they are only making the inevitable come more quickly. I'm not explaining this very well, but you know, a lot of it is activities of daily living that are not being done. In many cases, it's that the will never got finalized, right? We never got it signed. We never finished it. Who do you want to leave the house to? To whom do you want to leave the car? What are you going to do about the dog? Et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, practical considerations as well as considerations of you know, the person's daily behavior. I'm not sure if I answered your question very well.
Yeah, I think that Diana, you're to Kelly's question as well, and I think that segues over to a couple of questions on the technical side. You know, my kids do this, well, not to minimize the situation, but they ask Siri or they ask Alexa, right? You know, they have the answer, but what you have here is very much a communication tool for really difficult conversations. And not only with end-of-life care, but those with any type of cognitive concerns or physical concerns. They're mostly in denial, and I think that's what drew me to your project, is that we're conditioned that way, to be in denial about certain situations, especially when it comes to serious ailment. But what you're reaching into as well, which I really like, are those difficult conversations where it involves estate planning, or just saying, hey, do you have a will? And that becomes all of a sudden this legal issue where is this going to go to probate? So it like sets off this this series of events because we have this inability to have these really difficult conversations. Which to me is one of the most fascinating things about what you have. On the technical side, I see there's a ton of potential for AI and machine learning with natural language processing and communication. How do you envision, and this may be helpful for anybody who sees this video or the recording about the developmental side, how would you envision the functionality of the app? Can you describe it in 3 steps, which is always the toughest part on the technical side? Say you're a casual user. Can you describe in 3 steps how someone would use this?
In 3 steps, I'll try. First step is gather information. So maybe it's a series of questions, maybe it's a bunch of drop-down boxes with pertinent details or descriptions or information that the person completing it, the caregiver, completes. So step 1, it would be gathering information. Step 2 would be using an algorithm, using AI, some kind of matching even methodology to say, okay, well, in these kind of cases, we have found that when the person doesn't want to drink water, I mean, this is sort of kind of silly basic kind of a thing, but if they don't want to drink any water and they become seriously dehydrated, and this only makes their kidney failure worse, here's what we have found are like 3 things that can help the caregiver try to deal with the family member who is not drinking water. And then those things somehow are prioritized, or only one answer comes forward, or only one solution comes forward. And that's step 2. So we're using an algorithm or some kind of machine learning or something else to take the answers and compare them to some database that has gold standard stuff in it. And then the 3rd step would be to give the feedback to the caregiver.
Diane, you accomplished an exercise that most people take days or even weeks to try to perfect.
Well, I don't know if I'm exact, but I'm a very simple person.
Well, with app development, simple is better. Especially when we're trying to find the answers. So, of course, I know I put you on the spot, but that actually helps the developer understand what you're trying to get at to solve the problem. So, well done. Kelly, you have any questions before I ask Majdi or Dr. Lewis if they have questions as well?
No, please go ahead.
Yeah. Majdi, Dr. Lewis, any questions or thoughts?
I have something. So it seems to me that this could be more of like a psychological approach to dealing with the reactance of learning that you're now a terminally ill patient, and I think utilizing like an EEG headset or some sort of approach and understanding the changes in the brain, depending on different, maybe the reactance in your brain, the stimuli in your brain is affected differently when your kidney is failing versus when you are in stage 4 cancer. So I think that is something that could be looked into and researched. And from there, you can use machine learning or NLP or AI algorithms to develop an approach that suits, say, some sort of psychological theory that will kind of get around the reactance and the, I guess, illusion that they are fine. Because I feel like at the end of the day, learning such a grave thing that now you're on a ticking timer and you don't accept it, your brain is going to do everything it can, create some sort of cognitive dissonance and try to tell you that you are normal. But for me, the best approach would be to kind of go around that using machine learning, EEG, and just understanding what's actually happening in their brain at that specific time.
You would see this actually as applying to the patient, not to the caregiver. I like that. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say something a little bit of both, right? Teaching the caregiver how to deal with it, how to use psychology, not in a manipulative way, but to their advantage, and understanding what they're going through, what they're thinking, and what's actually happening in their brain, why they're so um, in the state of illusion with everything that's going on, and also kind of targeting the patient themselves and trying to teach them as well what is going on with everything in their body, how their condition affects, you know, their what they're thinking, and what are like the signs um, that you should be aware of um, after learning such a thing.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely another side to it.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Dr. Lewis, questions, comments, thoughts? Not totally okay. So Diane, this has been great. Again, a lot to think about. Just for next steps, I guess it would be the Google form for students to sign up, whether on the business side or the technological side, will be open till October 17th. At that time, we'll be assessing who signed up. We'd love to get you a team by October 24th. Fingers crossed, because all kidding aside, I think there's just a ton of potential here. It has been with all the ideas that have been presented. So hold tight, give us a little time to keep on pushing it and promoting it. Let's see what we can do. So October 17th, next step, October 24th, hopefully have a team. And then that matchmaking process is just ongoing, where going into the spring semester, the traditional spring semester, January to April is really the development time. But that doesn't mean you can't start before. But you've really identified a real problem on the communication front. So thanks so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for listening to me. And again, I want to applaud RPI for taking this great step to encourage entrepreneurship in the capital region. It's a problem that I have, a problem, you're solving a problem, and I think it's fantastic. So let me know what else you need from me.
Super. Thanks for the advocacy, and thanks for promoting it. It's appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.